Borderlands is a 2024 American science fiction action comedy film directed and co-written by Eli Roth, based on the video game series. Cate Blanchett stars as Lilith, an outlaw who forms an alliance with a team of misfits to find the missing daughter of the most powerful man in the universe. The ensemble cast also features Kevin Hart, Jack Black, Edgar Ramirez, Ariana Greenblatt, Florian Munteanu, Gina Gershon, and Jamie Lee Curtis. The film was announced in August 2015, with Lee Whannell in talks to direct. By February 2020, Roth was attached to direct from a screenplay by Craig Mazin. Casting took place from May 2020 to April 2021, with Blanchett cast first and others the following year. Principal photography began in April 2021 in Budapest, Hungary, during the COVID-19 pandemic, and wrapped in June. 2 weeks of reshoots took place in early 2023, directed by Tim Miller due to Roth's commitments to Thanksgiving. That June, Mazin removed his name from the project and was replaced by Joe Crombie. Borderlands premiered at the TCL Chinese Theater in Los Angeles, California on August 6, 2024, and was released in the United States by Lionsgate on August 9. The film received negative reviews from critics and grossed $33 million against a budget of $110 to $120 million. Plot: on the planet of Pandora, Roland, a mercenary soldier apparently gone rogue, kidnaps teenager Tiny Tina with the help of Krieg, a psycho who was institutionalized in the same facility. Meanwhile, on another planet, bounty hunter Lilith is contacted by Atlas, a powerful corporate magnate. He convinces her to rescue Tina, his daughter. Lilith returns to Pandora, her home planet, for the first time since she was a child. With the help of Claptrap, a robot that was mysteriously programmed to wait for her on Pandora, she locates Tina. After realizing that Atlas wants his daughter back against her will, Lilith teams up with Roland and Krieg when they are attacked by the Crimson Lance, the private army of Atlas. Lilith is informed that Tina was genetically engineered with biological material from the Iridians, the ancient race that once inhabited Pandora, and that Atlas believes only she can open the vault where the secrets of the lost civilization's advanced technology are kept. With the help of Lilith's estranged foster mother, Dr. Patricia Tanis, they locate the key to open the vault in an underground maze occupied by a tribe of psychos. They manage to take the key to the surface. Lilith destroys the device Atlas entrusted her with to signal when she had rescued Tina, and he immediately communicates with her via robotic drone, explaining that he still wants the girl. Tina overhears the end of the conversation and assumes that Lilith has betrayed her. She throws a grenade at Lilith, leaving her unconscious. When Lilith recovers, Claptrap unknowingly plays a holographic message for her, recorded by her mother. The next day, without Lilith and Claptrap, the team find the vault only to realize that Atlas is waiting for them, and they fight off his men. However, Tina is unable to open the vault. Lilith appears and explains that she is the one who can do it, being an Iridian known as the Firehawk. Atlas threatens to kill Tina if Lilith does not open the vault. She obeys but, with Tina's help, traps Atlas inside, where a creature drags him away. The group celebrates their survival. Cast: Cate Blanchett as Lilith 4. Kevin Hart as Roland Greaves 5. Jack Black as the voice of Claptrap 6. Edgar Ramirez as Deucalion Atlas 7. Ariana Greenblatt as Tiny Tina 8. Florian Munteanu as Krieg 9. Gina Gershon as Mad Moxie 10. Jamie Lee Curtis as Patricia Tanis 11. Haley Bennett as Lilith's mom 12, described as a key to the past of Lilith. 13. Bobby Lee as Larry 10. Olivier Richters as Crom 14. Janina Gavankar as Commander Nahs 15, an original character created for the film. She is portrayed as the daughter of General Nahs, a high-ranking Atlas Corporation officer and major antagonist from the secret armory of General Nahs DLC of the video game. 1617 Nahs seeks to capture Tiny Tina under the orders of Deucalion Atlas. Benjamin Byron Davis as Marcus 10. Harry Ford as Middleman. Paula Andrea Placido as Quinn. Stephen Boyer as Scooter 10. Ryan Redmond as Ellie 10. Additionally, Penn Jillette, who voiced Payne in the video game Borderlands 3, 2019, was going to have a cameo in the film as a preacher overseeing a wedding. 18 The scene was cut from the final version. 19 scenes with Cheyenne Jackson as Wainwright Jacobs and Charles Babalola as Alistair Hammerlock were also cut. 20. Production. Writer and director Eli Roth, left. Tim Miller, right, took over directing duties during reshoots. In 2011, Gearbox Software CEO Randy Pitchford had his first conversation about a possible film adaptation of Borderlands with producers Avi and Ari Arad of Arad Productions. 21 Pitchford was convinced that a film adaptation would work after the release of Tales from the Borderlands. 22 He later planned on starting a Borderlands cinematic universe. 23 In May 2015, Lee Wannell was in talks with Lionsgate to write and direct an adaptation of the video game series. 24 The film was officially announced in August 2015, however, Wannell's involvement was left omitted. 25. Eli Roth stated that his French bulldog pooping gave him inspiration while pitching the film. I have to look away because she gets really shy. But one day I filmed her. She had that shy look on her face and I was like, that's Claptrap. A scene of Claptrap pooping was included in the final film. 26. Aaron Burke was tapped to pen an R-rated take on the material in April 2016. 27 By June 2018, Warren Uziel assumed scripting duties from Berg. 28-29 On February 20, 2020, Lionsgate announced that Roth was attached to direct the film from a screenplay written by Craig Mazin, with Eric Feek joining as producer through his production company Picture Start. 30-31 By April 2021, Mazin's script had been rewritten by Jewel Taylor and Tony Rettenmaier, and again by Roth. 32 A plot synopsis was released in April. 33. Cate Blanchett was cast as Lilith in May 2020. 434 Speaking of her decision to join the project, Blanchett said, "The gunslinging stuff was so much fun. I got really absorbed in that whole world. I think there also may have been a little COVID madness. I was spending a lot of time in the garden, using the chainsaw a little too freely. My husband said, this film could save your life." 35. Kevin Hart trained with United States Navy SEALs prior to auditioning for the role of Roland. 36 The rest of the ensemble cast was announced between January and April 2021. 510 Roth stated that he wanted to include cosplayers in the film as extras and kill them off. 37. Filming began on April 1, 2021, in Budapest, Hungary, during the COVID-19 pandemic, and wrapped on June 22. 38-39-40 On June 4, 2021, first look images of the cast were released, with black and white images obscuring all but the cast silhouettes. 41 In January 2023, it was announced the film would be going through 2 weeks of reshoots directed by Tim Miller, due to Roth's commitments to Thanksgiving. 42 Zach Olkiewicz wrote new pages for Miller. 43 In June 2023, Mazin removed his name from the project, replaced by Joe Crombie. Mazin has denied reports that Crombie was his pseudonym. 44 Additional literary material was credited to Berg, Uziel, Taylor, Rettenmaier, Olkiewicz, Chris Bremner, and Sam Levinson. 45 Steve Jablonsky composed the film's score after replacing Nathan Barr. 46-47. Jimmy O'D, the stunt coordinator for the film, stated that scenes depicting heads being blown up and feet being cut off were cut to maintain a PG-13 rating. 48. Release. Theatrical. Borderlands was initially planned to be released in 2022. 4950 It premiered at the TCL Chinese Theater in Los Angeles on August 6, 2024. 51. It was theatrically released in the United States by Lionsgate Films on August 9, 2024. 52. The film cost $110 to $120 million to produce, and Lionsgate spent $30 million on print and advertising. International pre-sales reportedly covered 60% of production costs. 53. Sales of Borderlands 3 on Steam rose after the film's release, and the concurrent player amount doubled from around 6,000 to a peak of 12,231. 54. In promotion of the film, Borderlands 3 received a content update introducing new customization options inspired by the film's visuals, including character skins and weapon designs. 55. In August 2024, Gearbox Software officially announced Borderlands 4. 56. This announcement led to speculation that it was strategically timed to deflect from the film's critical reception, a marketing approach seen in other franchise adaptations. 57. Home Media. On August 18, 2024, Lionsgate Home Entertainment announced that Borderlands would be released on digital HD and platforms on August 30, 2024. 58. The film was released on DVD, Blu-ray, and 4K Ultra HD Blu-ray on October 22, 2024. 59. Reception. Box office. Borderlands grossed $15.5 million in the United States and Canada, and $17.5 million in other territories, for a worldwide total of $33 million. 2-3 Deadline Hollywood calculated Lionsgate lost $80 million on the film, when factoring together all expenses and revenues. 60. In the United States and Canada, Borderlands was released alongside It Ends With Us and Cuckoo, and was projected to gross $8 to $16 million from 3,125 theaters in its opening weekend. 53. 61. 62. The film made $4 million on its first day, including an estimated $1.32 million from Thursday previews. 63. It ended up debuting with $8.6 million, finishing in fourth. 64. It made $2.4 million in its second weekend. 65. Strauss Zelnick, CEO of Take-Two Interactive and the parent company of Gearbox, said in November 2024, even though the film was disappointing, it actually benefited our catalog sales in terms of the video game series, but also stated they will remain selective about future video game film adaptations. 66. Critical response. Borderlands received negative reviews from critics. 67. 68. 69. On the review aggregator website Rotten Tomatoes, 10% of 165 critics' reviews are positive, with an average rating of 3.3/10. The website's consensus reads, "Glitching out in every department, Borderlands is balderdash." 70. Metacritic, which uses a weighted average, assigned the film a score of 26 out of 100, based on 36 critics, indicating generally unfavorable reviews. 71 audiences polled by CinemaScore gave the film an average grade of D+ on an A+ to F scale, while those surveyed by PostTrack gave it a 46% positive score, with 31% saying they would definitely recommend it. 63. The Guardian called the film janky and a juvenile and derivative adaptation. 72. While Variety found it was a generic gaming adaptation that deprives audiences of the most valuable ingredient of its source, surprise. 73. The Independent said it was a total disaster. 74. While Rolling Stone wondered if Borderlands was the worst video game movie ever. 75. The Evening Standard suggested it was the worst film of the year. 76. PC Gamer compared Borderlands to numerous other video game movie adaptations. You might have heard the claim that this is a writing of the scale. To remind us that good adaptations are the exception, not the rule. We needed a new Super Mario Bros. We didn't get one. Borderlands cannot hold a candle to Super Mario Bros. It is not interestingly bad. It has no cheesy, thwarted ambition to redeem it. It never becomes more than a waste of 100 minutes. 77. Blanchett's performance was praised by Tim Grierson of Screen Daily, who contrasted it with the rest of the ensemble cast. Not many in the starry ensemble shine. Vivid character actors like Gina Gershon and Jamie Lee Curtis are trapped in stale genre types. Even the potentially intriguing change-of-pace performances such as Hart in a far more somber turn than we expect from the explosive comedian flatline. 78. Among the more positive reviews, MovieWeb wrote, Roth displays his cinematic prowess with solid combat scenes. Munteanu's Krieg is a beast and a half, twisting baddies into human pretzels with unabashed glee. The violence is brutal but not graphically disturbing. It's stunning to see a Roth film without even a hint of blood. The producers made a business calculation to avoid the R rating and allow children who also enjoy the games to see the film. Die-hard Roth fans expecting his trademark gruesome torture should sit this one out. 79. Brian Tallarico, writing for RoachRabbit.com, gave the film 1 star out of 4, describing it as an ugly, boring, truly inept piece of filmmaking. 80. It is considered one of the worst films of 2024 by Metacritic 81, Letterboxd 82, Digital Trends 83, Screen Crush 84 and The Times Tribune. 85. Screen Rant wrote that the script, action sequences, humor, PG-13 rating, unoriginality, underdeveloped characters, and lack of chemistry were criticized, though some praised Blanchett's performance. Catherine Elise Blanchett, /BLNTT/Blanchett 2, born May 14, 1969, is an Australian actor and producer. Regarded as one of the best performers of her generation, she is recognized for her versatile work across stage and screen. Blanchett has received numerous accolades, including 2 Academy Awards, 3 Actor Awards, 4 British Academy Film Awards, and 4 Golden Globe Awards, in addition to nominations for 3 Primetime Emmy Awards, a Laurence Olivier Award and a Tony Award. A graduate of the National Institute of Dramatic Art, she began her career on the Australian stage in 1992 and made her feature film debut in 1997. She came to international prominence for her performance as Queen Elizabeth I in the period drama Elizabeth, 1998, for which she received her first Academy Award nomination. She won the Academy Award for Best Supporting Actress for her portrayal of Katharine Hepburn in the biopic The Aviator, 2004, and Best Actress for playing a neurotic former socialite in the comedy drama Blue Jasmine, 2013. Her other Oscar-nominated roles were in Notes on a Scandal, 2006, I'm Not There, 2007, Elizabeth, The Golden Age, 2007, Carol, 2015, and Tar, 2022, making her the most nominated Australian. Her biggest commercial successes include The Lord of the Rings trilogy, 2001 to 2003, its prequel The Hobbit trilogy, 2012 to 2014, Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, 2008, The Curious Case of Benjamin Button, 2008, Cinderella, 2015, Thor, Ragnarok, 2017, Ocean's 8, 2018, and Don't Look Up, 2021. Blanchett has performed in over 20 stage productions. She and her husband, Andrew Upton, were the artistic directors of the Sydney Theatre Company from 2008 to 2013. Some of her stage roles during this period were in revivals of A Streetcar Named Desire, Uncle Vanya, Big and Little and The Maids. She made her Broadway debut in 2017 in The Present, for which she was nominated for the Tony Award for Best Actress in a Play. She portrayed Phyllis Schlafly in the FX on Hulu miniseries Mrs. America, 2020, and a journalist in Apple TV Plus miniseries Disclaimer, 2024, both of which earned her nominations for the Primetime Emmy Award for Outstanding Lead Actress in a Limited or Anthology Series or Movie. Blanchett is the recipient of several honorary awards. The Australian government awarded her the Centenary Medal in 2001, and she was appointed a Companion of the Order of Australia in 2017. In 2012, she was appointed Chevalier of the Order of Arts and Letters by the French government. Blanchett was honored by the Museum of Modern Art and received the British Film Institute Fellowship in 2015. Time named her one of its 100 most influential people in the world in 2007. In 2018, she was ranked among the world's highest paid actresses. She also received honorary Doctor of Letters degrees from the University of New South Wales, University of Sydney and Macquarie University. Early life and education. The National Institute of Dramatic Art in Kensington, New South Wales, where Blanchett studied. Catherine Elise Blanchett was born on May 14, 1969 in the Melbourne suburb of Ivanhoe. 5'6". Her Australian mother, June, née Gamble, 7 was a property developer and teacher, and her American father, Robert DeWitt Blanchett Jr., a Texan native, was a United States Navy Chief Petty Officer who became an advertising executive. 8, 9, 10 They met when Robert's ship broke down in Melbourne. 11 When Blanchett was 10, her father died of a heart attack, leaving her mother to raise the family. 12, 13 Blanchett is the second of 3 children, with an older brother and younger sister. 12 Her ancestry includes English, some Scottish, and remote French roots. 13, 14, 15 Blanchett has described herself as a part extrovert, part wallflower child. 12 During her teenage years she had a penchant for dressing in traditionally masculine clothing, and went through goth and punk phases, at one point shaving her head. 12 She attended primary school in Melbourne at Ivanhoe East Primary School. For her secondary education, she attended Ivanhoe Girls Grammar School and then Methodist Ladies College, where she explored her passion for the performing arts. 16 In her late teens and early 20s, she worked at a nursing home in Victoria. 17 After high school, she began a Bachelor of Business Administration at the University of Melbourne. While in Egypt, Blanchett was asked to be an extra as an American cheerleader in the Egyptian boxing film Caboria, 1990. In need of money, she accepted the job. 12, 18, 19 On returning to Australia, she moved to Sydney and enrolled at the National Institute of Dramatic Art, NIDA, 18 graduating in 1992 with a Bachelor of Fine Arts. 12. Career. 1992 to 2000, early work and international breakthrough. Blanchett's first stage role was opposite Geoffrey Rush in the 1992 David Mamet play Olena for the Sydney Theatre Company. That year, she was also cast as Clytemnestra in a production of Sophocles' Electra. A couple of weeks after rehearsals, the actress playing the title role pulled out, and director Lindy Davies cast Blanchett in the role. Her performance as Electra became one of her most acclaimed at NIDA. 11 In 1993, Blanchett was awarded the Sydney Theatre Critics' Best Newcomer Award for her performance in Timothy Daly's Kafka Dances and won Best Actress for her performance in Mamet's Olena, making her the first actor to win both categories in the same year. 11 Blanchett played the role of Ophelia in a 1994-1995 Company B production of Hamlet directed by Neil Armfield, starring Rush and Richard Roxburgh, and was nominated for a Green Room Award. 20. Blanchett's first screen appearance was in the 1994 TV miniseries Heartland 21 opposite Ernie Dingo, and she went on to appear in the miniseries Bordertown, 1995, with Hugo Weaving, and in an episode of Police Rescue entitled The Loaded Boy. 22-23 She also appeared in the 50-minute drama short film Parklands, 1996, which received an Australian Film Institute, AFI, nomination for Best Original Screenplay. 24-25 Blanchett made her feature film debut with a supporting role as an Australian nurse captured by the Japanese Army during World War II, in Bruce Beresford's film Paradise Road, 1997, which co-starred Glenn Close and Frances McDormand. 13 The film made just over $2 million at the box office on a budget of $19 million and received mixed reviews from critics. 26-27 Her first leading role came later that year as eccentric heiress Lucinda Blastrier in Gillian Armstrong's romantic drama Oscar and Lucinda, 1997, opposite Ralph Fiennes. 13. Blanchett received wide acclaim for her performance. 18. With Emmanuel Levy of Variety declaring, "Luminous newcomer Blanchett, in a role originally intended for Judy Davis, is bound to become a major star." 28. She earned her first AFI Award nomination as Best Leading Actress for Oscar and Lucinda. 29. She won the AFI Best Actress Award in the same year for her starring role as Lizzie in the romantic comedy Thank God He Met Lizzie, 1997, co-starring Richard Roxburgh and Frances O'Connor. 18. Shekhar Kapur, director of Elizabeth, 1998. Blanchett played a young Elizabeth I in the historical drama Elizabeth, 1998, directed by Shekhar Kapur. The film catapulted her to international prominence, winning her the Golden Globe Award and British Academy Award, BAFTA, and her first Actor Award and Academy Award nominations. 11:20. In his review for Variety, critic David Rooney wrote of her performance, "Blanchett conveys with grace, poise, and intelligence that Elizabeth was a wily, decisive, advanced thinker, far too aware of her own exceptional nature to bow to any man. She builds the juicy character almost imperceptibly from a smart but wary young woman who may be in over her head into a powerful creature of her own invention." 30. Janet Maslin of the New York Times wrote that Blanchett's performance brings spirit, beauty, and substance to what otherwise might have been turned into a vacuous role. 31. And Alicia Potter, writing for the Boston Phoenix, stated that, in the end, Kapur's crown jewel is a tale of twin transformations, that of Elizabeth into one of history's most enigmatic and powerful women, and that of Blanchett into, well, a bona fide screen queen. 32. The following year, Blanchett appeared in Bangers, 1999, an Australian short film and part of Stories of Lost Souls, a compilation of thematically related short stories. The short was written and directed by her husband, Andrew Upton, and produced by Blanchett and Upton. 33-34. She also appeared in the Mike Newell comedy Pushing Tin, 1999, with her performance singled out by critics. 18. And the critically acclaimed and financially successful film The Talented Mr. Ripley, 1999, alongside Matt Damon, Gwyneth Paltrow, Jude Law, and Philip Seymour Hoffman. She received her second BAFTA nomination for her performance as socialite Meredith Logue in The Talented Mr. Ripley. 13. 2001 to 2007, The Lord of the Rings and established actor. Blanchett appeared in Peter Jackson's blockbuster trilogy, The Lord of the Rings, playing the role of elf leader Galadriel in all three films. 13. The trilogy was a major critical and financial success, earning $2.981 billion at the box office worldwide. 35, 36, 37, and all three films were later ranked within the top 10 greatest fantasy movies of all time in a poll conducted by American magazine Wired in 2012. 38. In addition to The Lord of the Rings, 2001 also saw Blanchett diversify her portfolio with a range of roles in the dramas Charlotte Gray and the Shipping News and the American crime comedy Bandits, for which she earned a second Golden Globe and second Actor Award nomination. 39. Bandits marked Blanchett's first notable foray into the comedy genre, with Ben Falk of the BBC declaring her and co-star Billy Bob Thornton a real find as comedians and calling her performance as an unsatisfied housewife caught between two escaped convicts unhinged, though undeniably sexy. 40. In 2002, Blanchett starred opposite Giovanni Ribisi in Tom Tykwer-directed Heaven, the first film in an unfinished trilogy by writer-director Krzysztof Kieslowski. 2041. Her performance in the film as a grieving woman who commits a desperate act of terrorism was highly praised, with Stephen Holden of the New York Times calling it the most compelling screen performance of her career and going on to state, although Ms. Blanchett's face has always registered emotion with a mercurial fluidity, the immediacy of feeling she conveys in Heaven is astonishing. 42. 2003 saw Blanchett again playing a wide range of roles, Galadriel in the third and final installment of the Lord of the Rings trilogy, which won 11 Oscars, including Best Picture. 43. The Ron Howard-directed Western thriller The Missing, Jim Jarmusch's Coffee and Cigarettes, playing two roles, both against herself, for which she received an Independent Spirit Award for Best Supporting Female nomination 44, and the biographical Veronica Guerin, which earned her a Golden Globe nomination. 20 In 2004, Blanchett portrayed a pregnant journalist chronicling an underwater voyage by an eccentric oceanographer in Wes Anderson's The Life Aquatic with Steve Zissou. 45. Blanchett won her first Academy Award for Best Supporting Actress in 2005 for her highly acclaimed portrayal of Katharine Hepburn in Martin Scorsese's The Aviator, 2004. 46. This made Blanchett the first actor in history to win an Academy Award for portraying another Academy Award-winning actor. 47. She lent her Oscar statuette to the Australian Centre for the Moving Image. 48. In his review for Newsweek, David Anson wrote that Blanchett portrayed Hepburn with lip-smacking vivacity. 49. And Roger Ebert lauded the performance, describing it as delightful and yet touching, mannered and tomboyish. 50. During her preparation for the role, and at the request of Scorsese, Blanchett reviewed 35mm prints of all of Hepburn's first 15 screen performances to study and memorize her poise, mannerisms, and speech pattern. 51. Blanchett spoke of the responsibility of portraying such an iconic star, stating, "Representing Cate in the same medium, film, in which she existed was very daunting. But because she was so private and few people really knew her, we basically know Hepburn through her films. So of course you have to give a nod to her screen persona when playing her." 51. That year, Blanchett also won the Australian Film Institute Best Actress Award for her performance as Tracy Hart, a former heroin addict, in the Australian film Little Fish, 2005, co-produced by her and her husband's production company, Dirty Films. 33. Though lesser known globally than some of her other films, the sober and sensitive 52 Little Fish received great critical acclaim in Blanchett's native Australia and was nominated for 13 Australian Film Institute Awards. 53-54. Blanchett attending an event for The Good German at the 2007 Berlin International Film Festival. In 2006, Blanchett portrayed Hedda Gabler at the Brooklyn Academy of Music in the Sydney Theatre Company production of Hedda Gabler, directed by Robin Nevin. 55. She then starred opposite Brad Pitt in Alejandro González Inarritu's multilingual, multi-narrative drama Babel, as one half of a grieving couple who get caught up in an international incident in Morocco. Babel received 7 Academy Award nominations. 56. She also co-starred in Steven Soderbergh's World War II-era drama The Good German with George Clooney, and the psychological thriller Notes on a Scandal opposite Dame Judi Dench. 1820. Blanchett received a 3rd Academy Award nomination for her performance in the latter film 57, where she portrays a lonely teacher who embarks on an affair with a 15-year-old student and becomes the object of obsession for an older woman played by Dench. Both Blanchett's and Dench's performances were highly acclaimed, with Peter Bradshaw writing in The Guardian, director Richard Eyre, with unshowy authority, gets the best out of Dench and Blanchett and, with great shrewdness, elicits from these two actors all the little tensions and exasperations, as well as the genuine tenderness, in their tragically fraught relationship. 58. In 2007, Blanchett was named one of Time magazine's 100 most influential people in the world 59 and appeared on Forbes Celebrity 100 list. 60. She made a cameo as Janine, forensic scientist, and ex-girlfriend of Simon Pegg's character, in Edgar Wright's action comedy film Hot Fuzz, 2007. The cameo was uncredited and she gave her fee to charity. 61. She reprised her role as Queen Elizabeth I in the 2007 sequel Elizabeth, The Golden Age, directed by Shekhar Kapur, and also portrayed Jude Quinn, one of 6 incarnations of Bob Dylan in Todd Haynes' experimental film I'm Not There. She won the Volpe Cup for Best Actress at the Venice Film Festival, the Independent Spirit Award, and Golden Globe Award for Best Supporting Actress for her portrayal of Jude Quinn. 62, 63, 64. At the 80th Academy Awards, Blanchett received 2 nominations, Best Actress for Elizabeth, The Golden Age, and Best Supporting Actress for I'm Not There, becoming the first actress to receive a second nomination with the reprisal of a role. 65 of her achievement that year, Roger Ebert said, that Blanchett could appear in the same Toronto International Film Festival playing Elizabeth and Bob Dylan, both splendidly, is a wonder of acting. 66. 2008 to 2011, directing the Sydney Theatre Company. Blanchett next appeared in Steven Spielberg's Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, 2008, as the villainous KGB agent Col. Dr. Irina Spocko. 67. The film received mixed reviews from critics and audiences but was a major box office success, grossing over $790 million worldwide. 68. In David Fincher's Oscar-nominated The Curious Case of Benjamin Button, she co-starred with Brad Pitt for a second time, playing the title character's love interest, Daisy Fuller. In the same year, Blanchett voiced the character of Grandmamare for the English-language version of Hayao Miyazaki's Ponyo, released in July 2008. 69. Blanchett at the 2011 Sydney Film Festival. Also in 2008, Blanchett and her husband Andrew Upton became co-CEOs and artistic directors of the Sydney Theatre Company. 71. Blanchett returned to acting in the theatre in 2009 with the Sydney Theatre Company production of Tennessee Williams' A Streetcar Named Desire, directed by Liv Ullmann. She starred as Blanche Dubois alongside Joel Edgerton as Stanley Kowalski. Ullmann and Blanchett had been meaning to collaborate on a project since Ullmann's intended film adaptation of A Doll's House fell by the wayside. Blanchett proposed embarking on Streetcar to Ullmann, who jumped at the opportunity after initial discussion. 72-73. A Streetcar Named Desire production traveled from Sydney to the Brooklyn Academy of Music in New York, and the Kennedy Center in Washington, D.C. 74-75. It was a critical and commercial success, and Blanchett received acclaim for her performance as Blanche Dubois. 79. The New York Times critic Ben Brantley said, Ms. Ullmann and Ms. Blanchett have performed the play as if it had never been staged before, with the result that, as a friend of mine put it, you feel like you're hearing words you thought you knew pronounced correctly for the first time. 80. John Lahr of The New Yorker wrote of her portrayal, with her alert mind, her informed heart, and her lithe, patrician silhouette, Blanchett gets it right from the first beat. I don't expect to see a better performance of this role in my lifetime. 81. Jane Fonda, who attended a New York show, deemed it perhaps the greatest stage performance I have ever seen. 82. And Meryl Streep declared, that performance was as naked, as raw, and extraordinary and astonishing and surprising and scary as anything I've ever seen. I thought I'd seen that play, I thought I knew all the lines by heart, because I've seen it so many times, but I'd never seen the play until I saw that performance. 83. Blanchett won the Sydney Theatre Award for Best Actress in a Leading Role. 84. The production and Blanchett received Helen Hayes Awards, for Outstanding Non-Resident Production and Outstanding Lead Actress in a Non-Resident Production Award, respectively. 85. In 2010, Blanchett starred as Lady Marian opposite Russell Crowe's titular hero in Ridley Scott's epic Robin Hood. The film received mixed reviews from critics. 86. But was a financial success, earning $321 million at the worldwide box office. 87. In 2011, she played the antagonist CIA agent Marissa Wiegler in Joe Wright's action thriller film Hannah, co-starring with Saoirse Ronan and Eric Bana. 88. In 2011, Blanchett took part in 2 Sydney Theatre Company productions. She played Lottie Cott in a new translation of both O. Strauss's 1978 play Gross und Klein, Big and Small, from Martin Crimp, directed by Benedict Andrews. 89. After its Sydney run, the production traveled to London, Paris, the Vienna Festival and Ruhrfestspiele. 10. Blanchett and the production received wide acclaim. 95. Blanchett was nominated for the Evening Standard Theatre Awards for Best Actress. 96. And won the Sydney Theatre Award for Best Actress in a Leading Role. 97. And the Help Man Award for Best Actress. 98. She then played Yelena, opposite Hugo Weaving and Richard Roxburgh, in Andrew Upton's adaptation of Anton Chekhov's Uncle Vanya, which traveled to the Kennedy Center and the New York City Center as part of the Lincoln Center Festival. 99 The production and Blanchett received critical acclaim. 102 With the New York Times Ben Brantley declaring, "I consider the 3 hours I spent on Saturday night watching the characters complain about how bored they are among the happiest of my theatre-going life. This Uncle Vanya gets under your skin like no other I have seen." Blanchett confirms her status as one of the best and bravest actresses on the planet. 103. The Washington Post's Peter Marks dubbed the production Washington, D.C.'s top theatrical event of 2011. 7. Blanchett received the Helen Hayes Award for Outstanding Lead Actress in a Non-Resident Production, and the Help Man Award for Best Actress. 98. 104. 2012 to 2016, Blue Jasmine and Resurgence in Hollywood. Blanchett promoting The Hobbit, The Battle of Five Armies at the 2014 San Diego Comic-Con. Blanchett reprised her role as Galadriel in Peter Jackson's adaptations of The Hobbit, 2012 to 2014, prequel to the Lord of the Rings series, filmed in New Zealand. 105 While less critically acclaimed than the Lord of the Rings trilogy, The Hobbit trilogy was nonetheless a major box office success, earning nearly $3 billion worldwide. 106 107 108 The character of Galadriel does not appear in J.R.R. Tolkien's original novel, but the story was amended by co-writer Guillermo del Toro and director Peter Jackson so that Blanchett could appear in the film trilogy. 109 She voiced the role of Penelope in the Family Guy episode Mr. and Mrs. Stewie, which aired on April 29, 2012, and Queen Elizabeth II in the episode Family Guy Viewer Mail 2, which aired on May 20, 2012. 110 111 Blanchett returned to Australian film with her appearance in The Turning, 2013, an anthology film based on a collection of short stories by Tim Winton. 112 She was head of jury of the 2012 and 2013 Dubai International Film Festival. 113 The Sydney Theatre Company's 2013 season was Blanchett's final one as co-CEO and artistic director. 70 114 In 2013, Blanchett played Jasmine Francis, the lead role in Woody Allen's Blue Jasmine, co-starring Alec Baldwin and Sally Hawkins. Her performance garnered widespread acclaim, with some critics considering it to be the finest of her career to that point, surpassing her performance in Elizabeth. 115 In his review for The Guardian, Mark Kermode proclaimed, "Blanchett takes on the challenge like a peak fitness runner facing a marathon, plowing her way through 26 miles of emotional road pounding, with all the ups and downs, strains, and tears, stomach turns and heartburns that entails, a feat that occasionally leaves her, and us, gasping for breath." 116 Peter Travers, reviewing the film for Rolling Stone, called Blanchett's performance miraculous, and went on to write, "The sight of Jasmine, lost, alone and unable to conjure magic out of unyielding reality, is devastating. This is Blanchett triumphant, and not to be missed." 117 The performance won her more than 40 industry and critics awards, including the LAFCA Award, NYFCC Award, NSFC Award, Critics' Choice Award, Santa Barbara International Film Festival Outstanding Performance of the Year Award, Actor Award, Golden Globe Award, BAFTA Award, Independent Spirit Award, and the Academy Award for Best Actress. 118 Blanchett's win made her just the sixth actress to win an Oscar in both of the acting categories, the third to win Best Actress after Best Supporting Actress, and the first Australian to win more than one acting Oscar. 119 120 121 Allen's adopted daughter Dylan Farrow has since criticized Blanchett and other actresses for working with Allen. 122 123 Blanchett responded, "It's obviously been a long and painful situation for the family and I hope they find some resolution and peace." 124 On the subject of the Me Too movement, Blanchett said she thinks that social media is fantastic about raising awareness about issues, but it's not the judge and jury, and the cases need to go into court, so if these abuses have happened, the person is prosecuted, so someone, who is not in the shiny industry that I am, can use that legal precedent to protect themselves. Always, in my industry or any other industry, they're preyed upon because they're vulnerable. 125-126. In 2014, Blanchett co-starred with Matt Damon and George Clooney in the latter's ensemble film, The Monuments Men, based on the true story of a crew of art historians and museum curators who recover renowned works of art stolen by Nazis. 127. The French heroine Rose Valland was an inspiration for Blanchett's character of Claire Simone. 128. The Monuments Men received mixed reviews from critics and grossed $155 million at the worldwide box office. 129. That year, Blanchett also voiced the part of Valka in the DreamWorks animation film How to Train Your Dragon 2. 130. The film received critical acclaim and was a box office success. 131. It went on to win the Golden Globe Award for Best Animated Feature Film and receive a nomination for the Academy Award for Best Animated Feature. 132-133. Blanchett guest starred on the Australian show Rake, as the on-screen female version of Richard Roxburgh's rogue protagonist, Cleaver. 134. On January 29, 2015, she co-hosted the 4th IACTA Awards with Deborah Mailman. 135. Blanchett attending the premiere of Carol at the 2015 Cannes Film Festival. In 2015, Blanchett starred in 5 films. She portrayed Nancy in Terrence Malick's Knight of Cups, which premiered at the Berlin International Film Festival. 136. IndieWire named Blanchett's performance in Knight of Cups one of the 15 best performances in Terrence Malick films. 137. She starred as the villainous Lady Tremaine in Disney's Kenneth Branagh-directed live-action adaptation of Cinderella to critical acclaim. 138-139. Richard Corliss of Time declared that Blanchett earns top billing, radiating a hauteur that chills as it amuses. The performance is grand without skirting parody. 140. She then starred opposite Rooney Mara in Carol, the film adaptation of Patricia Highsmith's The Price of Salt, reuniting her with director Todd Haynes. Blanchett, who also served as an executive producer of the film, drew rave reviews for her performance as the titular character, which was widely cited as one of the best of her career, alongside Elizabeth and Blue Jasmine. Justin Chang of Variety proclaimed, "As a study in the way beautiful surfaces can simultaneously conceal and expose deeper meanings, Blanchett's performance represents an all-too-fitting centerpiece for this magnificently realized movie." 141-142. For Carol, Blanchett again received Oscar, Golden Globe, and BAFTA Award nominations. 143-144-145. Blanchett portrayed Mary Mapes opposite Robert Redford's Dan Rather in Truth, 2015, a film about the Killian documents controversy. Blanchett's production company was a producing partner for the film. 146. She then starred in Manifesto, Julian Rosefeldt's multi-screen video installation, in which 12 artist manifestos are depicted by 13 different characters, all played by Blanchett. 147. The Project, and Blanchett, received critical acclaim. 148. With Roberta Smith of the New York Times stating, "If the art world gave out Oscars, Cate Blanchett should win for her tour de force of starring roles in Manifesto." 149. In 2016, Blanchett narrated one of 2 versions of Terrence Malick's documentary On Earth and the Universe, Voyage of Time, which had its world premiere at the 73rd Venice Film Festival. 150, 151, 152. 2017 to 2020, Broadway debut and television success. Blanchett starred in the Sydney Theatre Company play The Present, Andrew Upton's adaptation of Anton Chekhov's play Platonov, directed by John Crowley. 153. The production debuted in Sydney in 2015, to critical acclaim, and transferred to Broadway in 2017. 154. 155, marking Blanchett's Broadway debut. 156. Blanchett's performance during the play's Broadway run received acclaim. Ben Brantley of the New York Times remarked that Blanchett knows how to hold a stage and, if necessary, hijack it. Such commanding, try-anything charisma is useful if you're attempting to hold together a badly assembled party or, for that matter, play. 157. 158. For her work, Blanchett received a Tony Award nomination for Best Actress in a Play. 159. A Drama Desk Award nomination. 160. And a Drama League Award nomination for the Distinguished Performance Award. 161. In 2017, Blanchett also appeared in Terrence Malick's Song to Song, shot back-to-back with Knight of Cups in 2012. 162. And portrayed the goddess of death Hela in the Marvel Studios film Thor: Ragnarok, directed by Taika Waititi. 163. Thor: Ragnarok was both a critical and financial success, earning $854 million at the worldwide box office. 164. In 2018, Blanchett starred in Ocean's 8, the all-female spin-off of the Ocean's 11 franchise, directed by Gary Ross, opposite Sandra Bullock, Anne Hathaway, Sarah Paulson, Mindy Kaling, Helena Bonham Carter, Rihanna, and Awkwafina. 165. 166. 167. The film garnered mainly mixed reviews but was a box office success, earning over $297 million worldwide. 168. She also portrayed Florence Zimmerman in the film adaptation of The House with a Clock in Its Walls, directed by Eli Roth. 169. And narrated Shannon Ashland's award-winning Australian historical fantasy film Sweet Tooth. 170. Blanchett was appointed the president of the jury of the 71st Cannes Film Festival, which took place in May 2018. 171. That year, Forbes listed her as one of world's highest-paid actresses with annual earnings of $12.5 million. 172. Blanchett at the 2018 Cannes Film Festival, where she served as jury president. Blanchett portrayed a female version of the python Kaa in Andy Serkis' adaptation of the Jungle Book titled Mowgli, Legend of the Jungle, 2018. Serkis utilized a mixture of motion capture, CG animation and live action in the film, and the role of Kaa was written to be much closer to the original character in the short stories by the author Rudyard Kipling, which is as a mentor-like figure for Mowgli. 173. The film was released on Netflix in 2019. 174. In the same year, Blanchett starred in Where'd You Go, Bernadette, an adaptation of the best-selling book of the same name, which was directed by Richard Linklater. 175. The film received mostly mixed reviews and made $10.4 million at the box office against a budget of $18,176,177. But Blanchett's performance as the titular character received praise, with Pete Hammond writing in his review for Deadline, "The film doesn't quite measure up to expectations, despite a game performance from the incandescent Cate Blanchett, who clearly is the best reason to see this movie." 178. She received her 10th Golden Globe nomination for her performance in the film. 179. Also that year, she reprised her role as Valka in How to Train Your Dragon: The Hidden World, which was nominated for Best Animated Feature at the 92nd Academy Awards. 180. 181. In 2020, Blanchett's Dirty Films production company was signed with New Republic Pictures for feature films and FX Networks for television. 182. 183. Blanchett returned to television by starring in two miniseries. She played a supporting role in the Australian drama series Stateless, inspired by the controversial mandatory detention case of Cornelia Rao. Stateless was funded by Screen Australia, and Blanchett also served as co-creator and executive producer for the series. 184 It aired on the Australian public broadcaster ABC, and premiered internationally on Netflix. 185 Blanchett won 2 awards at the 10th IACTA Awards for Stateless, Best Guest or Supporting Actress for her performance, and Best Mini-Series for her role as executive producer. 186. Blanchett also headlined and produced the FX/Hulu historical drama miniseries Mrs. America, 2020, starring as conservative activist Phyllis Schlafly. 187 The 9-part series aired to widespread critical acclaim. 188 189 With James Pony Wozik writing in his review for the New York Times, her final scene, wordless and devastating, might as well end with Blanchett being handed an Emmy on screen. 190 And Michael Idito for the Sydney Morning Herald proclaiming, Blanchett's track record speaks for itself, but here something else is happening. Every time Blanchett's Schlafly glides perfectly into the frame, there is simply nowhere else to look. 191. At the 72nd Primetime Emmy Awards, she received nominations for Outstanding Lead Actress in a Limited Series or Movie and Outstanding Limited Series, as well as nominations for the Golden Globe Award, the Actor Award, both for her performance, and the Television Critics Association Award for Individual Achievement in Drama. 192 193 194 195 Blanchett also served as an executive producer on the Greek film Apples, 2020, directed by Christos Nikau. 196 The film premiered at the Venice International Film Festival to critical praise. 197 198 and was selected to be the country's submission to the Academy Awards as their best foreign language film. 199 200. 2021, present, Tar and further acclaim. Blanchett at SPIF 2023. In 2021, Blanchett starred alongside Bradley Cooper in Guillermo del Toro's film adaptation of Nightmare Alley, which was released to positive reviews. 201 202 David Ehrlich of IndieWire praised the chemistry between the two leads, writing, "It's such a thrill to watch Blanchett spar with Cooper." 203 The film was nominated for 4 Academy Awards including Best Picture. 204 She also acted alongside Jennifer Lawrence and Leonardo DiCaprio in Adam McKay's Don't Look Up, an apocalyptic political satire black comedy film for Netflix. 205 Pete Hammond of The Hollywood Reporter wrote, "Blanchett is having a ball as your typical entertainment-oriented blonde anchorwoman." 206 The film also received an Oscar nomination for Best Picture. 204 With Nightmare Alley and Don't Look Up's Best Picture Oscar nominations, Blanchett broke the record held by actress Olivia de Havilland of being the female actor with the most credited roles in Best Picture nominees. 207. Blanchett then starred in the 2022 film Tar, directed by Todd Field. Her performance as Lydia Tar, a fictional renowned conductor, received widespread critical acclaim. 208 The Hollywood Reporter's David Rooney wrote that Blanchett gives an astonishing performance, flinty, commandingly self-possessed, and ever so slowly splintering under pressure, adding that it marks yet another career peak for Blanchett, many are likely to argue her greatest. 209 For her performance, she won her second Volpe Cup for Best Actress, 4th Golden Globe Award, and 4th BAFTA Award. 210 211 212 She also swept the major critics awards trifecta, NYFCC, LAFCA, NSFC, for the second time and went on to receive her 8th Oscar nomination, tying for the 4th most Oscar-nominated actress. 213 214 That year, Blanchett also voiced Spazzatura in the Netflix film adaptation Pinocchio, reuniting her with Del Toro. 215. In 2023, Blanchett co-starred in the Australian drama film The New Boy 216 and reprised the role of Hela in the Season 2 episode What If? Hela found the 10 rings of the Marvel series What If? 217 She also co-produced the Apple TV Plus science fiction romantic drama film Fingernails. 218-219 The following year, Blanchett reunited with Eli Roth to portray Lilith in the Borderlands, a live-action film adaptation of the video games of the same name. The film premiered to negative reviews from critics and became a box office bomb. 220 She then headlined the Apple TV Plus psychological thriller miniseries Disclaimer, written and directed by Alfonso Cuarón, and co-starring Kevin Kline, Sacha Baron Cohen and Louis Partridge. 221 It premiered in October to a mostly positive critical reception. 222-223 In July 2024, she joined the short film Marion as an executive producer. 224. In 2025, from March to April, Blanchett starred opposite Tom Burke, Emma Corrin, and Cody Smith-McPhee in a reimagining of the Anton Chekhov play The Seagull at the Barbican Theatre in London. 225 She also starred in two films, Steven Soderbergh's spy thriller Black Bag and Jim Jarmusch's comedy-drama anthology Father, Mother, Sister, Brother, both of which received critical praise. Father, Mother, Sister, Brother was awarded the Golden Lion at the 2025 Venice Film Festival. Blanchett made a surprise cameo appearance in the final episode of Squid Game Season 3. 226. She will next star in the sci-fi comedy Alpha Gang 227 and produce and star in a manual for cleaning women, based on Lucia Berlin's 43-part collection of short stories. 228-229 In January 2026, it was announced that Blanchett would be reprising the role of Valka in Universal's live-action remake of How to Train Your Dragon 2. 230 In February 2026, her Dirty Films company had signed a first-look deal with Searchlight Pictures. 231. Style and reception. Blanchett at the 2012 Trofest in Sydney, Australia. Blanchett is regarded as one of the finest and most versatile actors of her generation. 246 She is noted for her ability to play characters from many different walks of life, and for headlining and being an ensemble player in a wide range of film genres and production scales, from low-budget independent films to high-profile blockbusters. 250 She has also been praised for her mastery over a wide array of diverse accents, including English, Irish, French, and various regional American accents. 252 In a 2022 readers' poll by Empire magazine, Blanchett was voted one of the 50 greatest actors of all time. 253. Commenting on her appeal as a screen actor in Vulture, Will Leach and Tim Grierson stated that her greatest skill was her ability to combine relatability and elusiveness. She is always completely present and yet just out of grasp. She has been forever daring, uncompromising, and perpetually, resolutely, herself. 247. Blanchett's performance in the film Carol was ranked as the second best movie performance of the decade by IndieWire in 2019. Writing of her performance in the film, Christian Zilko states, "The greatest performance in a career where almost every role feels like a legitimate contender, Cate Blanchett's take on Carol aired is a veritable symphony of repressive silence." 254. Blanchett has been cited in the press as being a style icon and has frequently topped lists of the best-dressed women in the world. 255, 256, 257 In 2004, Blanchett was named the third most naturally beautiful woman of all time by a panel of beauty and fashion editors, makeup artists, model agencies, and photographers, behind Audrey Hepburn and Liv Tyler. 258 She was in Empire's list of the 100 sexiest movie stars of all time in 2007 and 2013. 259, 260 In 2022, she was named in the Hollywood Reporter's listing of Women in Entertainment Power 100. 261. In 2006, a portrait of Blanchett and her family painted by McLean Edwards was a finalist for the Art Gallery of New South Wales Archibald Prize. 262 Another portrait of Blanchett was a finalist for the Archibald Prize in 2014. 263 Blanchett appeared in a series of commemorative postage stamps called Australian Legends in 2009, in recognition of the outstanding contribution made to Australian entertainment and culture. 264 In 2015, Madame Tussauds Hollywood unveiled a wax statue of Blanchett draped in a recreation of the yellow Valentino dress she wore to the 77th Academy Awards in 2005. 265 In 2019, Blanchett was among the 10 inspirational women honored with a larger-than-life bronze sculpture as part of the Statues for Equality project, which aims to balance gender representation in public art and honor women's contributions to society. The bronze statues were unveiled on Women's Equality Day, August 26, 2019 on Avenue of the Americas in New York City. Blanchett's statue is a creation based on a single image from the 2003 photo shoot by Matt Jones for Movieline's Hollywood Life magazine. 266 267 Activism. Environmental. Blanchett has been a long-term proponent of individual and collective action on climate change and other environmental issues. In 2006, she joined former U.S. Vice President Al Gore's climate project. 268 269 In 2007, Blanchett became the ambassador for the Australian Conservation Foundation. 270 271 She was made an honorary life member of the Australian Conservation Foundation in 2012, in recognition of her support for environmental issues. 268 At the beginning of 2011, Blanchett lent her support for a carbon tax. 272 She received some criticism for this, particularly from conservatives. 273 274 Blanchett is a patron of the international development charity SolarAid, which works to create a sustainable market for solar lights in Africa. 275 From 2008 to 2011, the Sydney Theatre Company under the leadership of Blanchett and her husband Andrew Upton, initiated a comprehensive large-scale environmental program called Greening the Wharf, which invested in solar energy, rainwater harvesting, energy efficiency measures and best practice waste management. 276 The program won a Green Globe Award which was accepted by Blanchett and Upton. 277 In January 2014, Blanchett took part in the Green Carpet Challenge, an initiative to raise the public profile of sustainable fashion, founded by Livia Firth of EcoAge. 278 279 In September 2020, as part of her role as jury president of the 77th Venice International Film Festival, she vowed that during the festival she would only wear outfits that she had previously worn at public events in an effort to highlight the issue of sustainability in the fashion industry. 280 In October of the same year, Blanchett was appointed by Prince William as a council member for the Earthshot Prize, which provides 50 environmental pioneers with the funds needed to further their work in tackling major problems impacting the environment. 281 In 2022, Blanchett and environmental activist Danny Kennedy launched the Climate of Change podcast on Audible to discuss climate change and the importance of preserving the environment. 282 283 In 2024, Blanchett was announced as the new ambassador of Wakehurst, a nature reserve in England. 284 The following year, she hosted a series of The Unearthed, The Need for Seeds podcast by Royal Botanic Gardens Kew, covering the history of the Millennium Seed Bank at the site. 285 The Echo House that Blanchett and Upton are having built in Moggenporth, Cornwall, on the site of a stone cottage they bought for £1.6 million and then demolished. 286 has been the subject of controversy, as the noise from its construction is alleged to have destroyed the family holidays of a number of people in 2023. 287 The couple's application to build an extension and space for parking had been described by a local resident as a blatant attempt to erode an environmentally important piece of land by stealth and incorporate it. 287 The architects developing the site denied that anyone has been inconvenienced by the noise. 287. Humanitarian. Like you, I have heard the gut-wrenching accounts. Stories of grave torture, of women brutally violated, people who have had their loved ones killed before their eyes. Children who have seen their grandparents locked in houses that were set alight. I am a mother, and I saw my children in the eyes of every single refugee child I met. I saw myself in every parent. How can any mother endure seeing her child thrown into a fire? Part of Blanchett's address to the United Nations Security Council about the Rohingya refugee crisis in August 2018. 288. Blanchett has been working with the United Nations High Commissioner for Refugees, UNHCR, since 2015. In May 2016, the UNHCR announced her appointment as a Global Goodwill Ambassador. 289. Blanchett, along with other celebrities, featured in a video from the UNHCR to help raise awareness to the global refugee crisis. The video, titled What They Took With Them, has the actors reading a poem written by Jennifer Toxvig and inspired by primary accounts of refugees, and is part of UNHCR's With Refugees campaign, which also includes a petition to governments to expand asylum to provide further shelter, integrating job opportunities, and education. 290-291. Blanchett has undertaken missions with the UNHCR to Jordan in 2015, Lebanon in 2016 and Bangladesh in 2018 to meet with and highlight the issues faced by both Syrian and Rohingya refugees in those areas. 292. In January 2018, she was awarded the Crystal Award at the World Economic Forum to honor her advocacy for refugees and displaced people around the world. 293. And in August 2018, she addressed the United Nations Security Council about the atrocities committed against the Rohingya people in Myanmar. 294. In July 2020, the Australian miniseries Stateless, which was co-created and produced by Blanchett, and originally aired on the ABC network in Australia, premiered on Netflix. The series was inspired by Blanchett's work with the UNHCR and focuses on 4 strangers whose lives collide at an immigration detention center in Australia. In Blanchett's words, the show's aim is to build empathy and understanding for refugees, particularly those who have been and still are in detention. 295. As an esteemed member of the performing arts community that was seriously impacted by the COVID-19 pandemic, and a person concerned about environmental and humanitarian issues, Blanchett contributed an essay to Upturn, A Better Normal After COVID-19, a book published in 2020 about what could be done to improve society after the pandemic in her native Australia. 296-297. Blanchett said, "We engage with the performance of the gesture and the whole of it is greater than the sum of its parts. I think this need to gather is fundamental to who we are, and it has been stymied by COVID-19 but also underlined by it, and that need in us for community addresses the difficult lesson we have to learn: business is not government and government is not a business." 297. In May 2020, Blanchett was among the celebrities who read an installment of Roald Dahl's children's fantasy novel James and the Giant Peach in aid of the global non-profit charity Partners in Health, co-founded by Dahl's daughter Ophelia, which had been fighting COVID-19 in vulnerable areas. 298. In September 2020, Blanchett, Helen Mirren, Eddie Redmayne, Salman Rushdie and other figures of British cultural life support the protests of University for Theatre and Film Arts, SZFE, students in Budapest against changes ushered Prime Minister Viktor Orban's government that forced a transfer of control of the public institution to a private foundation and a new structure to guide key decisions at the storied SZFE. 299-300. She expressed solidarity with the people of the Gaza Strip during the Gaza War. As part of a group called Artists for Ceasefire, she signed a letter urging President Joe Biden to call for an immediate ceasefire in Gaza. 301. Personal life. Blanchett at the inaugural ACTA Awards in 2012. Blanchett is married to playwright and screenwriter Andrew Upton. They met in Australia in the mid-1990s and married on June 21, 1997. 306 They have 3 sons, 307, 308, 309 and a daughter, who was adopted in 2015. 310 311 Blanchett said that she and her husband had wanted to adopt since the birth of their first son. 312 After making Brighton, England their main home for nearly 10 years, she and her husband returned to their native Australia in 2006. 313 314 Blanchett attributed the move to their desire to select a permanent home for her children, to be closer to her family, and to have a sense of belonging to the Australian theatrical community. 315 In 2007, she and her family extensively renovated their home in the Sydney suburb of Hunters Hill to be more eco-friendly. 316 317 Following its sale in 2015, she and Upton relocated back to England and purchased a house in Crowborough, East Sussex, in early 2016. 318 Blanchett has spoken about feminism and politics, telling Sky News in 2013 that she was concerned that a wave of conservatism sweeping the globe was threatening women's role in society. 319 She has also commented on the pressures women in Hollywood face now. Honestly, I think about my appearance less than I did 10 years ago. People talk about the golden age of Hollywood because of how women were lit then. You could be Joan Crawford and Bette Davis and work well into your 50s, because you were lit and made into a goddess. Now, with everything being sort of gritty, women have this sense of their use-by date. 320 Blanchett was the first ambassador and has been a patron of the Australian Film Institute and its Academy, the Australian Academy of Cinema and Television Arts, since 2001. 321 She is also a patron of the Sydney Film Festival 322 and of the Australian Pavilion in the Venice Biennale, speaking at its opening at the Venice Giardini in May 2015. 323 Blanchett spoke at former Prime Minister of Australia Gough Whitlam's state funeral in 2014, and at the Margaret Whitlam dinner and fundraiser event hosted by politician Tanya Plibersek in June 2015. 324 Blanchett became a spokeswoman for and the face of SK2, the luxury skincare brand owned by Procter & Gamble, in 2005. 325 326 and brand ambassador for Giorgio Armani fragrances for women in 2013, being paid $10 million for the latter. 327 In 2018, Armani announced Blanchett would become the first beauty ambassador for the company, representing it globally by absorbing responsibilities for skincare and makeup, in addition to her previous 2013 commitments to fragrances. 328 329 In 2022, Louis Vuitton announced Blanchett as its new house ambassador. 330 Acting credits and accolades. Main articles: Cate Blanchett on screen and stage and list of awards and nominations received by Cate Blanchett. Blanchett star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. Blanchett has appeared in over 70 films and over 20 theater productions. As of 2019, Blanchett's films have grossed over $9.8 billion at the worldwide box office. 331 Her highest grossing films include The Lord of the Rings, 2001 to 2003, and The Hobbit, 2012 to 2014, trilogies, The Curious Case of Benjamin Button, 2008, Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, 2008, Cinderella, 2015, Thor, Ragnarok, 2017, and Ocean's 8, 2018. Among her numerous accolades for her acting work, Blanchett has won 2 Academy Awards, 332, 333, 4 BAFTA Awards, 334, 4 Golden Globe Awards, 335 and 3 Actor Awards. 336, 337, 338. Her performance as Katharine Hepburn in The Aviator made her the only actor to win an Academy Award for portraying an Academy Award-winning actor. 339, 340. Blanchett is one of only 4 actors to win the Academy Award for Best Actress after winning Best Supporting Actress. 120. She is the only female actor, and one of only 6 actors, in Oscar history to be nominated twice for playing the same role in 2 films, Elizabeth I for Elizabeth and Elizabeth, The Golden Age, and the 11th actor to receive 2 acting nominations in the same year. 65, 341. She is also the only Australian to win 2 acting Oscars. 342. Blanchett has been recognized by the Academy of Motion Picture Arts and Sciences for the following performances: 71st Academy Awards, 1998 Best Actress, nomination, Elizabeth. 77th Academy Awards, 2004 Best Supporting Actress, win, The Aviator. 79th Academy Awards, 2006 Best Supporting Actress, nomination, Notes on a Scandal. 80th Academy Awards, 2007 Best Actress, nomination, Elizabeth, The Golden Age. 80th Academy Awards, 2007 Best Supporting Actress, nomination, I'm Not There. 86th Academy Awards, 2013 Best Actress, win, Blue Jasmine. 88th Academy Awards, 2015 Best Actress, nomination, Carol. 95th Academy Awards, 2022 Best Actress, nomination, Tar. Blanchett received Premiere Magazine's Icon Award in 2006. 343. In 2008, she received the Santa Barbara International Film Festival Modern Master Award in recognition of her accomplishments in the film industry. 344. That year, she received a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame, inducted at 6712 Hollywood Boulevard outside Grauman's Egyptian Theater. 20. She received Women in Film and Television International's Crystal Award for Excellence in the Entertainment Industry in 2014. 345. In 2015, Blanchett was honored at the Museum of Modern Art's Film Benefit for her outstanding contributions to the industry. 346. 347. She received the British Film Institute Fellowship in recognition of her outstanding contribution to film, presented to her by fellow actor Ian McKellen. 348. 349. Blanchett was also the recipient of the IACTA Longford Lyell Award in 2015, for her outstanding contribution to the enrichment of Australia's screen environment and culture. 350. In 2016, she received the Costume Designers Guild Lacoste Spotlight Award, in honor of an enduring commitment to excellence and her appreciation for the artistry of costume design and collaboration with the costume designers. 351. Blanchett was awarded the Centenary Medal for Service to Australian Society by the Australian Government. 352. In 2012, she was appointed Chevalier of the Order of Arts and Letters by the French Minister of Culture, in recognition of her significant contributions to the arts. 353. In 2017, Blanchett was made a Companion of the Order of Australia by the Queen for eminent service to the performing arts as an international stage and screen actor, through seminal contributions as Director of Artistic Organizations, as a role model for women and young performers, and as a supporter of humanitarian and environmental causes. 354. She has been presented with Honorary Doctor of Letters degree from the University of Sydney, the University of New South Wales and Macquarie University in recognition of her contribution to the arts, philanthropy, and the community. 352. 355. In 2022, she received the Honorary César Award from the Académie des Arts et Techniques du Cinéma for her absolutely remarkable career and personality. 356. At the 2024 Toronto International Film Festival, she was named the recipient of the Share Her Journey Groundbreaker Award, which is presented to women who have made a positive difference in improving conditions for women in the film industry. Kevin Darnell Hart, born July 6, 1979, is an American comedian and actor. After winning several stand-up comedy competitions, Hart had his first breakthrough when Judd Apatow cast him in a recurring role on the TV series Undeclared, 2001. Hart's comedic reputation continued to grow with the release of his first stand-up album I'm a Grown Little Man, 2009. He has since released 4 more comedy albums: Seriously Funny, 2010, Laugh at My Pain, 2011, Let Me Explain, 2013, and What Now? 2016. As an actor, Hart has had roles in films such as Paper Soldiers, 2002, Scary Movie 3, 2003, Soul Plane, 2004, In the Mix, 2005, Little Fockers, 2010, Think Like a Man, 2012, Grudge Match, 2013, Ride Along, 2014, About Last Night, 2014, Get Hard, 2015, Central Intelligence, 2016, The Secret Life of Pets film franchise, 2016 to 2019, Ride Along 2, 2016, Captain Underpants, The First Epic Movie, 2017, The Jumanji film franchise, 2017, Present, and Night School, 2018. He also created and starred as a fictionalized version of himself in Real Husbands of Hollywood, 2013 to 2016. In 2017, he launched the Laugh Out Loud Network, a subscription video streaming service in partnership with Lionsgate. Hart has received numerous accolades, including the Mark Twain Prize for American Humor in 2024, and nominations for 2 Grammy Awards and 4 Primetime Emmy Awards. In 2015, Time magazine named him on its annual list of the 100 most influential people in the world. 1. Early life. Kevin Darnell Hart II was born in Philadelphia on July 6, 1979. 3 to Nancy Hart, died 2007, 4 and Henry Robert Witherspoon, died 2022. 3-5 He has an older brother named Robert. 2 He was raised in a single-parent household by his mother, who worked as a systems analyst for the Office of Student Registration and Financial Services at the University of Pennsylvania. 2 His father was a cocaine addict who was in and out of jail throughout most of Hart's childhood, prompting Hart to use humor as a way to cope with his troubled family life. 3 His relationship with his father improved after his father recovered from his addiction. 4 He would also later talk about his mother in his stand-up routine, portraying her as a loving yet intimidating woman. 6. As a teenager, Hart had aspirations of becoming a basketball player. He was a participant at the La Salle basketball camp with future National Basketball Association Hall of Famer Kobe Bryant and future political commentator and activist Mark Lamont Hill. 7, 8, 9. After graduating from George Washington High School, Hart briefly attended the Community College of Philadelphia before dropping out and moving to New York City. 10, 11, 12 He spent some time working as a shoe salesman. 12, 13. Career. Stand-up. Hart's first stand-up performance took place at the Laugh House in his native Philadelphia under the name of Lil Kev, which did not go well. 4:14 His career suffered a slow start and he was booed off stage several times, once even having a piece of chicken thrown at him. 15 After those initial unsuccessful shows, he began entering comedy competitions throughout Massachusetts, with audience receptions eventually improving. 12 It took time for Hart to develop a unique comedic style. After an early period of attempting to imitate comedians like Chris Tucker, he found his own rhythm by delving into his insecurities and life experiences. He said, "Because of what I do, it has to be an open book. But right now, this is a book that is being written." 15. Hart's comedy tours began in 2009 with his act titled I'm a Grown Little Man, followed by Seriously Funny in 2010, Laugh at My Pain in 2011, and Let Me Explain in 2013, the last two of which were also released as features in theaters. 4 Hart grossed over $15 million from Laugh at My Pain, making it one of the year's top-selling comedy tours. 16 Hart also has a game app available through iTunes called Little Jumpman. His Facebook page, Twitter account, and YouTube channel are all connected to and accessible through this app. 14 Most overseas fans of Hart discovered him on YouTube as well. 17. On April 9, 2015, Hart embarked on a comedy world tour titled The What Now? Tour at the AT&T Center in San Antonio, which concluded on August 7, 2016, at the Columbus Civic Center in Columbus, Georgia. On July 16, 2015, Universal Pictures announced that Kevin Hart, What Now?, a stand-up comedy film featuring a performance of Hart's What Now? Tour, would be theatrically released in the United States on October 14, 2016. 18 The show was filmed live on August 30, 2015, in front of 53,000 people, at Philadelphia's Lincoln Financial Field. 1920. In 2025, Hart performed as a headliner in Saudi Arabia's Riyadh Comedy Festival, an event taking place from September 26 to October 9. 2122 The comedy festival overlaps with the 7th anniversary of the assassination of Jamal Khashoggi, prompting Joey Shea, Saudi Arabia researcher at Human Rights Watch, to say in a statement that the Saudi government is using the comedy festival to whitewash its human rights abuses. 2324 Hart has performed in the region before, the first time taking place in January 2023. 2526 Film and television roles. Hart and Charles M. Robinson in October 2009. Hart had a guest appearance in the 2002 sitcom, Undeclared. He made his film debut in the 2002 film Paper Soldiers. Hart then had other film roles such as the Scary Movie franchise, Soul Plane, The 40-Year-Old Virgin, Death at a Funeral and Little Fockers. 27 He turned down a role in the 2008 film Tropic Thunder because the character is gay, citing his own insecurities. 28 He played Doug in the film The 5-Year Engagement, 2012, and appeared in Think Like a Man, which was a box office success. Citation needed. He also appeared in the sequel. Citation needed. He had a cameo as himself in This Is the End. Citation needed. In 2013, Hart played a boxing promoter in Grudge Match and appeared in Exit Strategy as Mannequin Head Man. He also appeared in 35 and Ticking. Citation needed. In 2013, Hart co-created Real Husbands of Hollywood with Chris Spencer. 29 The show follows Hart along with other married celebrities, each playing a comical fictionalized version of themselves, within the series including Boris Kodjoe, Nelly, Dwayne Martin, J.B. Smoove, Nick Cannon and Robin Thicke. Thicke did not return for the second season due to his music career, though Hart has stated that the door is open for him to return. 30 The series is filmed in a style similar to Bravo's The Real Housewives. Episodes often hinge on the real Hart's desperately unsuccessful attempts to climb Hollywood's celebrity social ladder, which always backfire in humiliating ways, and the character's barely hidden envy of his more successful celebrity friends. A sneak peek was shown as a segment during the 2012 BET Awards, and the official promo was released in October 2012. 31. In 2014, Hart starred as Ben in Ride Along, opposite Ice Cube. 32 The film received generally negative reviews from critics, but was a major box office success. 33-34 Hart returned in the sequel, Ride Along 2, which was released in 2016. 35-36 In 2015, Hart starred in the films Get Hard with Will Ferrell and The Wedding Ringer. In 2016, he starred in Central Intelligence with Dwayne Johnson and the animated The Secret Life of Pets. 37-38 In 2017, he starred in Captain Underpants, the first epic movie, in a voice role, and Jumanji, Welcome to the Jungle with Jack Black, Karen Gillan, and Redeeming Again with Johnson. 3940 He earned an estimated $32.5 million in 2017. 41 In 2018, he produced his first film under his production company Heartbeat Productions, Night School. 42 In October 2018, his production company announced that he signed a first-look deal with Nickelodeon. Under the deal, Hart and his Heartbeat Productions banner will develop and produce live-action, scripted kids content for the network. Hart also has a first-look film deal with Universal Studios. 43 In 2019, Hart's film The Upside, his first headlining role in a drama, was theatrically released. It also starred Bryan Cranston and Nicole Kidman. 44 Hart also reprised his role of Snowball in the sequel The Secret Life of Pets 2, and Franklin Finbar in Jumanji, The Next Level. Citation needed in 2021, Hart starred in Fatherhood, a drama about a man whose wife dies shortly after childbirth, leaving him to raise their daughter on his own. 45 It premiered on Netflix on June 18, 2021. 46. In July 2020, his series Die Hard premiered on Quibi on July 20th and had a strong first weekend. In March 2023, Roku and Hart's multi-platform comedy brand Laugh Out Loud debuted the series' second season on the Roku channel. In addition to returning to his starring role, Hart executive produced the second season. Laugh Out Loud CEO and Hart's longtime business partner, Jeff Klanagan, served as a producer on the project. 47 Hart signed a first-look deal with Netflix in January 2021. 48 He later played Arnold Drummond in the Different Strokes portion of the third edition of Live in front of a studio audience. 49 In 2022, Hart starred alongside Mark Wahlberg in the comedy film, Me Time. The film shows how Sonny, Hart, experiences a wild journey with his friend after finding a much-longed-for free weekend. 50 In January 2024, Hart starred, alongside Ursula Corberó from Money Heist and Vincent D'Onofrio, as a master thief in the Netflix comedy heist film Lift, directed by F. Gary Gray. 51-52 A month later, he competed in Season 11 of The Masked Singer as Book. He purposely unmasked himself in the Season 11 premiere as part of a prank on host Nick Cannon. 53. Upcoming projects. In 2019, Hart signed on to star in and produce Monopoly. 54 As of June 2023, Monopoly is still in development. 55. Laugh Out Loud Productions. In 2017, Hart founded Laugh Out Loud, LOL, 56 a global media and production company to provide opportunities for top comedic talent of all ethnicities worldwide. 57 Originally partnered with Lionsgate. 58 Hart became majority owner in 2019 after buying out most of Lionsgate's stake. LOL spans the full range of media channels, including digital, audio, linear and experiential, with 4 divisions: LOL Network, LOL Studios, LOL Audio and LOLX. 59. Hart has aggressively expanded LOL's reach since its founding, securing partnership deals with Pluto TV, Roku, Snap, Facebook, Peacock, and YouTube. In 2020, he extended his company's agreement with SiriusXM. 60 LOL has won numerous accolades, including nominations and awards from the Producers Guild of America, Critics' Choice Movie Awards, Realscreen, Streamy, and Webby. 61 62 63. Known for content such as Cold as Balls, What the Fit, Die Hard, and more, LOL has amassed more than 1 billion video views across its digital platforms. 64 and has worked with brand partners such as AT&T, Headspace, Lyft, Old Spice, P&G, and Viacom. 47. LOL and production company Heartbeat Productions merged in April 2022, creating Heartbeat, which includes Heartbeat Studios, Heartbeat Media, and Heartbeat Pulse. 65. Hosting. In addition to acting, Hart has also hosted various ceremonies. Hart first hosted the 2011 BET Awards. 66 Hart then hosted the 2012 MTV Video Music Awards. 67 After his longtime friend Judd Apatow, the director who gave him his first big on-screen break in the TV series Undeclared, recommended him for the position. 68 Hart hoped this would project him into a side career as an MC, stating, "Hopefully after MTV, of course we're talking Emmys, Oscars, whatever." 4. From 2013 to 2015, he hosted 3 episodes of Saturday Night Live. 69-70 In 2015, Hart hosted the Comedy Central roast of Justin Bieber. 71 In 2016, Hart co-hosted the 2016 MTV Movie Awards with Dwayne Johnson. 72. In September 2018, Hart hosted HQ Trivia with Scott Rogowski and gave away $100,000 to one person. 73. On December 4, 2018, Hart was announced as the host of the 2019 Academy Awards. 2 days later, however, he withdrew from hosting duties in the wake of backlash against him over several homophobic tweets he had posted between 2010 and 2011. 74, 75, 76, 77 He characterized the protest as unconstructive and argued, "If you don't believe people change, grow as they get older, I don't know what to tell you." On December 7, he tweeted an apology to the LGBTQ community following criticism for not issuing one the previous day. 78 On January 3, 2019, Hart stated that he was going to reconsider stepping down as host, after openly lesbian comedian Ellen DeGeneres, who has hosted the Academy Awards multiple times, expressed support for him to do so and said she had contacted the Academy to ask if Hart would be able to reverse his decision if he wished, and, according to DeGeneres, they said he would be able to do so. 79 On January 8, following backlash for what was perceived as an insincere apology by critics, Hart confirmed that he would not be hosting the Academy Awards. 80 That year's ceremony was ultimately held without a host. In September 2020, executives from the Muscular Dystrophy Association, MDA, announced plans to relaunch their annual MDA telethon and make Hart its new host, taking over duties that had been held from 1966 to 2010 by comedian and former national MDA chairman Jerry Lewis. 81 Entitled The MDA Kevin Hart Kids Telethon, the 2-hour telethon was held on October 24, 2020, and was seen exclusively through participating social media platforms. 82. In 2024, Hart hosted the Netflix special The Roast of Tom Brady. 83. In December 2025, Hart co-hosted the 2026 FIFA World Cup draw at the Kennedy Center in Washington, D.C. 84. Music. As Chocolate Droppa, his alias, he signed to Motown Records and released Kevin Hart, What Now? The mixtape presents Chocolate Droppa, the soundtrack to his stand-up film of the same name. 85 He released the singles Push It On Me featuring Trey Songz and Baller Alert with Migos and T.I. 86. Modeling. In 2017, Hart and Tommy John appeared in an underwear commercial for Macy's. 87. Hart House. In August 2022, Hart debuted a vegan restaurant, Hart House, to compete with fast food chains by offering flavorful plant-based alternatives. 88-89 The restaurant opened in Los Angeles, California, about a mile from Los Angeles International Airport, LAX, with a simple menu of veggie burgers and chicken products. 88-89 The restaurant's offerings are claimed to be entirely free of cholesterol, antibiotics, hormones, artificial colors, preservatives, high fructose corn syrup, or trans fats, and inspired by Hart's own health nut lifestyle.